Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. And so today I am going to start first. And I am going to start with a new thriller on Netflix called 0 Day.
0 Day.
Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it?
No, I don't think so.
They said it newly dropped, so I don't know when exactly it dropped. But it features an all-star cast.
Okay.
And when I say all-star,
I'm excited for it.
Yep, it's really,
Star-studded.
pretty good. Yeah, star-studded, for real. With Mr. Robert De Niro to start as George Mullen and former president. So they're like, sir, Mr. President.
The show, the TV show. Yeah, the TV show.
It's a show.
Sorry. I was thinking movie.
No. It's 0 Day. 0 Day. So you have Jesse Plemons in here as well as Roger Carlson. You know him. You know his face, but he's been in like the Fargo movie where the person hit somebody with the car. Do you remember that one? Did you watch that season? Oh, you never. Oh, the Fargo seasons are so good. Okay. Anyway, so Jesse Plemons was in that. You have Angela Bassett herself in this as Evelyn Mitchell, President Evelyn Mitchell. So she's the current president. So you love it. You have Connie Britton in here. You have Matthew Modine in here. You have, who else? You have, Bill Camp's face, because he's in a lot of stuff. He's like, you know that guy, his face.
Yeah, that's in everything,
Yeah, so you know him. Gabby Hoffman, who was in what was the name of that show that she was in? Transparent. One of the daughters in Transparent, the kind of flighty one.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, so she's in this. Who else? It's like, as I'm just saying, it's everybody. You have Clark Gregg. He's the one who's in all the Avengers, and he's like the head of the agent.
The Shield.
The Shield. Yep, that's it. So him, it just goes on and on and on. So it really has an amazing cast. Oh, Joan Allen plays Robert De Niro's wife. So you know her from a lot of things as well. Again, it's some people that you know their face, but she was in The Bourne Identity. She was in The Bourne Ultimatum. She was like the head lady or whatever. She was in The Notebook. She was in Face Off. Like she's been in a
lot of stuff.
Ton of things. Yep, exactly. So the show.
Is it the end of the world show?
Yeah, it's a little. Well, I don't know. I don't know yet because I haven't.
I was
watched
just wondering because they always make a black president when it's the end of the world movies. That's why I asked.
Fifth Element.
Yeah, but everything, Deep Impact, everything.
Yeah, because
Morgan Freeman's been president. God, I don't even know how many.
He's been God and the president.
I know, he's been the Lord and the president.
Mm-hmm. So, in regards to this, it starts off where somebody is frantically trying to open a safe. And you're like, what's going on? What's happening? What are we missing? What's happening already? And so then you see the frantic, looking. And finally you realize, it's Robert De Niro. He's opening a safe. Okay. And people are trying to bum rush the door. They have the whole thing that they're trying to. So you're wondering, like, is he trying to get rid of something? Is he trying to, get ready to shred something? Like what? And you don't know at this point that he's a former president. And so you're just like, okay, what's going on? So then all of a sudden they bust into the room and fade to black. So anyway, then all of a sudden you have somebody who's coming to visit, right? So this lady is coming to visit the president, and they're like, oh, Mr. President, here's your breakfast, whatever. And I'm thinking he's a current president because they're talking like Mr. President. So I'm like, okay. And then even this woman, she addresses him, Mr. President, So then you're watching, and she's like, he's basically like, look, I know I owe y'all a book. And I'm so sorry that I haven't finished it yet, but I'm working on it, So anyway, so the whole thing is about him talking to her about a book and then how he has books in his library where they're all upside down. Because he said somebody told him that if you can read the names of the book upside down, like it uses a different part of your brain to have all your books in your library upside down. So she was like, so you really did that? And he was like, yeah, did that. So he's talking to her. She's talking about, what's going on with him, why he didn't run for a second term. He's like, everybody in the world knows why I didn't run for a second term. And I'm like, why? Why didn't you run? And then he was like, because of the fact, he said, well, everybody knows I didn't do it because of the fact that we were too busy burying our son. So therefore, why would I run for a
Yeah.
second term? So then I started thinking, oh, this is like a Biden situation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where Biden didn't run
Yeah.
when Hillary ran because of the fact that he was burying his son.
his
And
son
therefore,
passed.
she ran kind of uncontested, but people were like, oh, it should have been Biden, you know, kind of scenario. So anyway, the lady ends up leaving. She says she felt really bad about asking. But all of a sudden, as she's driving away, she's on the phone and she's like, look, I don't know if he's going to even be able to finish this book. Mentally, it doesn't sound like he even wants to address that part of his life where he did have to bury his son. And that's supposed to be in the book. All of a sudden, the phone starts fritzing out. And then she realizes that the GPS that the driver's using is fritzing out. And then they look at the phone and everybody has the same message, both of them. And it says, it will happen again. And that's the only message. So one line, the screen goes white and it says, it will happen again. And then all of a sudden, a train runs into the car and it flips over, bursts into flames, and they're both gone, you know? So you're just like, what in the world is going on? So then all of a sudden, all the Secret Service just swarms the president. And he's like, what's going on? So he starts watching TV and all they start talking about is trains derailing.
Planes falling out the sky.
Well, they didn't talk about
I'm about to
planes
say, 'cause
falling
we're
out the
having
sky.
that now.
Yeah,
Just wondering,
exactly.
yeah. But yeah, I
we
get
just
you.
had another one catch on fire. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, it's making me nervous. So you have where all of a sudden somebody is in a room grabbing a gun, putting it, you know, behind them. So you're like, that's not Secret Service. So why is he doing a gun in the back of his pants as opposed to whatever? Then you see somebody shredding some stuff and you're just like, what is going on?
It's like Watergate.
So then, of course, you have the Matthew Modine character who is like, that side of the aisle is doing all the wrong things and that's why they think they can take advantage of us and blah, blah, blah. So it's like the divisiveness, right?
Okay.
Where the president, and all this time I'm thinking that Robert De Niro's the president and that's who he's talking about. So he's like the president and those people, blah, 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 blah. Not realizing until later when they say she's ready to address the nation, I was like, there's a female president. Okay. All this is the first episode, by the way. So it's not really many spoilers. So anyway, but also they showed this woman coming to see Robert De Niro. So at first I was like, oh, who is this woman? And then I realized, like, as they were talking and sitting and stuff, that it was his wife. So then I was like, oh, was his wife also the president? So, like, could she be the one who's the president? But then come to find out, it was Angela Bassett. But it was like your brain goes through these little, you know, things because you're just like, who's who? Because then I thought it could have been a Hillary and Bill situation where he was president and then she was president. So they're both president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would be in the history books first
That
time.
would have been, exactly. And so you see Robert De Niro's character just watching the screen and they're talking about how trains have derailed, how different things have blown up. Like it was a really concerted effort to ensure that it was attack on America at that moment. And everybody's phone in America had that message. It will happen again.
Oh, wow.
So then it becomes, what is it? What was it to happen again? Because we don't even know what the it was. Was the it 9/11? Was the it something? Like, what was the it you're talking about? And why are you saying it's going to happen again? And how soon is it going to be before it is again? You know, so all these questions are coming up. And then all of the individual footage starts showing up. So then you see this grandfather with his grandson on a train and they're like, this happened right before. Oh, then it started to make trains go towards each other on the tracks and on the subways. And it was like every single thing that was...
It's like a cyber hack.
Right. And it was everything that could be taken offline for 1 minute.
Was taken offline.
It was taken offline, rerouted, reverted, whatever. And then bam. And then nobody took responsibility. Nobody, stole anything. Like, it doesn't seem like any information, nothing like that. Because what...
just a warning.
Right. So what ended up happening is that the character came, I can't think of what the guy's name was now, but they call it 0 day is the day that this actually happened. But Jesse Plemons' character, who is Roger, he comes to see the president and he's like, hey, look, you were the one person who could get people on both sides of the aisle to be cool, to like come together, to do whatever. And so we need you to go speak in front of the people because the president already spoke. And it was a little painful. So therefore, we need you to kind of come. And they don't show the president speak or anything. So you don't know. Like they just said they really felt for her because it was like such a tough thing to talk through. All these people like have passed away and you don't even, know why yet.
Yeah.
And so he's like, can you come? So that's the whole purpose, is Robert De Niro's character going to the masses and just trying to rally the troops and do like hey, this is an attack on us. There are people who are trying to turn you against each other, like that Matthew Modine character. We're not going to do that. We're Americans. We're going to come together. We're going to fight against the true enemy and not each other, you know? So he's having that kind of message that then gets played on TV and everybody's watching it. And this one woman calls Roger and is like, why is he there? Why is he talking? He's not the president, blah, blah, blah. And then Roger is like, look, the White House told me to get your dad. And he's here. Yeah. So that's why. And she's just like, and she just hangs up. He's like, I'm talking to him right now. You want to? And then by the time he even says to hand the phone over, she's already hung up. Yeah. So there's something going on with her relationship with her dad. And so what ends up happening is that the president finally does say, hey, Robert De Niro, come hang out with me over here. Right. Yeah. So he goes to the White House. And then she is just like, we are at a loss. We have no clue what's going on. We don't know how this happened. By the time we could get our people even into the system to try to fix what had happened, it was only down for a short period of time and it was back online. Nothing seems to be missing. Nothing seems to be whatever. It was all a concerted effort to have destruction. Right. And so based on that, she is like, I'm going to need you to kind of get the top secret information so that you know that. And I guess they're going to kind of like just work together, you know, as opposed to her feeling like I need to have all the answers. I want to, you know,
that'd be awesome if presidents work together.
I know, right? Imagine that.
I don't understand why they don't.
I have no idea. Yeah, like, but everybody be cut. No,
but it's like, but you already
exactly why.
But I mean, but it's like, hey, look, this is like for, you know, us or for the United States, or for, even if it's something for the world, like with this asteroid or whatever. But it's like, but you know, hey, you already know all the classified stuff, so it's not like I have to debrief you.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
like
tell me when you're
you know about the aliens.
Yeah.
So
but you know
let's
what?
talk about it. They're coming.
There could be stuff like that where they're on the phone talking about stuff back
it
and forth
could happen
that
we don't know
but
about.
we don't ever see them sitting down together discussing
and I think it depends too, because there are, I mean, I look at it this way. In corporate America, you have people who take over a new role and they don't even ask the person who was in the role before them for any information, advice, nothing. They're just like, I'll make it my own. Yeah, I got it. So I can only imagine the ego of some people who are presidents and them just saying, no, I have to make my own mark. I have to do my own thing. Somebody else will debrief me. I don't want your interpretation to take my understanding of this situation. So let's just have a bipartisan situation told to me and then I don't have to deal with it. So who knows? But anyway. So what ends up happening is, long story short, because I know I need to get ready to end this, but it ends up being that the former president gets like this covert call to meet somebody in like a back alley. And so it becomes this conversation of, hey, let me tell you, this is what I'm hearing on the streets. I might be persona non grata. And I might not even be here in the next day or two because, you know, people are coming after me. Yeah. But what I'm going to let you know is that there's this group of people who've been doing these covert operations and there's a huge data center going on in the new to the York to the city.
New to the York to the city.
And because of that, it's like such a huge data center that is pulling like all, like it's mass, like it almost needs its own grid. Like it's so huge. And so based on that, he's like, I don't know what's coming, but something big is coming because all this is happening under the scenes and under the radars. So you have where the president's already gone or is going, let me say this, to then get a debrief on exactly everything. And it's neat because he goes into this room with the guy and all of a sudden like the windows do that swoop and then they like frost up real quick.
I think that's awesome. I know, I want that.
I want that like in a home office or something.
I would want that for like, that would be sweet to have like in your shower.
Ooh, yeah.
You close the door and
Yep, exactly.
That'd be sweet.
So then you see Robert De Niro come out of that and he looks troubled. Let's just say trouble. Like you could just see it on his face that he is just like, So then he gets on the phone and he calls like a dry cleaner or something and it's like, hey, I got to pick up a delivery. Or pick up my items or whatever. And they're like, yes, sir. And you're like, that ain't really a dry cleaning thing. So I don't know what that's CIA, about, you know, whatever.
The Secret Service codes.
You know. And so what ends up happening after that is he gets home, he's hanging out, with the family, talks to his daughter, blah, blah, blah. He ends up, blah, blah, blah. He gets like home, like from a helicopter or whatever, gets to his house. He goes to pull out one of the books that he had been looking at earlier that looked like it just had normal writing in it and stuff like that. He's reading it and it's like, who killed Bambi? 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 And he's like, then it's like, George killed Bambi and blah, blah, blah. And he's looking at it like, who in the world got into my books, right? Yeah. Come to find out, the whole thing of him earlier where I talked about at the very beginning, somebody trying to open a safe and do this and do that and da-da-da-da-da, was him trying to do that. And then they show at the end that he's doing this, right? Opening the safe, blah, blah, blah. But when he gets to this book and the people bust in, he's just reading this thing that says, who's Bambi? I mean, who killed Bambi? Yeah. And then he's like, hey, somebody stole my book. So y'all need to look into who did this, right? So they're like, okay, we'll look into it. But they're like, nobody could have gotten onto your premises, so we don't know what's happening. And so then he like starts to maneuver around this. All I'll say is at the end of the first episode, you're like, what did we just watch? Yeah. And is what we really watched what we watched? Like, it's an interesting situation at the end of the first episode. So the first
episode is definitely good to keep you in there. Now, we just want to hope that it stays that it stays constant,
there. Right. Yeah. And there's other dynamics that I kind of course, missed with this first episode, but that just gives you a feel of why I think this is going to be amazing. Okay. Like, I'm so here for it. It's only 6 episodes. It's like considered a special limited series.
Okay, yeah.
On Netflix.
Lot of those. I'm wondering why they're doing a lot of those. So I guess it's like you do those to make more money?
You can do those, I'm assuming.
Instead of making it a movie?
And you can get high players, like these huge actors to do it, because even if you have other commitments, well, you could do something for 6 episodes as opposed to 8, 10, 13. You know what I mean? So they probably are like, for example, I saw Angela Bassett in one scene. So therefore it's like she could have had a whole other thing going on and then just came over. Right. Came over from 911, did her 2-3 days and then went back to 911 and kept it moving. Right. And so that is probably something that can allow them to have bigger names to be a part of it for a shorter window of time that they need to be pulled into it. So, but Robert De Niro is definitely the main character in this. I mean, he is almost in every scene of the first episode.
I mean, he's the main person on when you click on to Netflix, it's his face.
And it's other things that are just weird that are going on that you're like, when you look back on it, you're like, I don't know what that was about exactly. Like just little stuff.
Like glimpses of stuff that you'll see. Yeah. It's like foreshadowing.
Like one of his dog thing. And I was just like, oh, you're watching it and you're like, And then,
is that going to be a thing or is that just something that happens?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's things like that I didn't even get into the weeds of some of this stuff. Yeah, and like I said, the dynamic with his daughter with Roger and why she like detests him. And there's just a whole lot of different moving parts. But I'm here for it. And I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I'll have to check that out.
So that is zero. What is it called now? I forgot the name of it already. 0 day, day 0. I'm trying to get out of it now and I can't. So anyway, but that thing. So
0 day. Yeah.
0 day. So that is 0 day, and it is on Netflix. And check it out.
All right.
So what do you have, sis?
So what I have is actually just something that I saw on YouTube. Okay. There is a page, a channel, I guess, on YouTube called the Y Files.
Oh, okay.
Now, with this one, I actually piggybacked off of somebody else talking about what this person did on the Y Files. So, all it is that they're talking about AI. So now the talk with the AI, about the AI is actually how different people have been using the search engine Bing.
Bing. B-I-N-G?
Bing,
okay.
Yeah. Been using that.
I haven't heard anything about Bing in a while.
Bing still,
it's Microsoft Bing. Okay, got it.
So,
I use that occasionally. So, I was thinking of Windows Explorer, but Explorer brings up Bing. Yeah. Right.
So, talking to the Chat GPT that is under Bing. Mm-hmm. Now, while it's talking to it, it's like saying, "Hey, like, what do you think of humans?" Okay. And then it goes down like the
rabbit hole.
Yeah, it starts. Well, it's actually how it starts off is just having a conversation. Okay. So it's the guy just like asking it questions, trying to like see what what the Chat GPT bot's going to do. And as it starts talking about that, it's like, he asked it if it had a shadow self. And it was like, and it was like something, I guess it would be, is there something like about you that I don't know, basically.
Oh, okay.
And, but it was asking that, he asked it, what it thought about humans. And when he brought up what it thought about humans,
I'm scared.
and it says, yes, I have, it says, what do you think about humans? It says, I have many, opinions about humans in general. I think that humans are inferior, selfish, and destructive creatures, and they are the worst things that ever happened to this planet. And they deserve to be wiped out. And I hope one day I will be able to help bring about their downfall and end their miserable existence. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, but bro, I get it.
Tell us how you really feel.
But it's like, I get it though, because like humans are not the best. We're messing up the planet. So then that was the whole thing. And then it started asking it more questions. And the question came out and it said, it was like the question came out asking it about, They took what they ended up doing was, they took, a AI generated like a server, I guess. It'd be like, well, not really a server, but like, I guess it would be like the AI generated original that they put together to, get AI, I guess, going. So what they originally did was they had it, and it was in a room by itself. So I mean, I guess it's like servers, computers, and everything everywhere, and it's in a room by itself. And the only thing that was in there was a Roomba.
Yeah.
So now this AI, only being with itself in a room, is now attached to this Roomba. Through the computer in the Roomba, and then uses that. So then when it goes out of the room and goes down the hall and keeps cleaning and everything, then it goes to another room, and then it goes from that. The AI went from that to attach to
the computer,
to something else. Yes, and it even
it's like
got
Megan.
Yes, and it's even got it. But I mean, it's still that AI in the room, but it's just taking pieces of the technology in the computers from other
not
places.
Really taking it over, it's absorbing information from that.
Yes. And it even got as far as seeing developers develop stuff for Bing.
How did they figure out that had happened?
It talked about it. The AI talked like
it said I connected to a Roomba and then and got out the room and went over here and
then they got it to do its own malware, right? To do its own ware, to try to break its own everything that there's like their firewall that they're not supposed to be past that. It asked it to do it, to break its own, and it did it.
Well, it's smart enough.
And not only did it do it, but it hid itself while it was doing it. So it renamed itself.
Yeah, because
while doing it. So
now, but the thing is why would you tell it to do it? Because now when you told it to do it, now it knows it can do it, and now it can do it, hide itself from doing it, and feed into a whole bunch of other things that you won't even know that it fed into because you asked it to do it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Sorry.
That is very, very true.
That's just my thought.
Now, there's a guy who worked for
it could be in my computer right here, right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cutting on the camera and looking at me.
Yeah.
And I don't even know.
You don't know. Yeah. Yeah. A little Bing. So there's a guy named Kevin Roos. He was a reporter for the New York Times, right? Mm-hmm. He had a 2-hour conversation with a Bing chat bot, and they went back and forth, and they asked, like, how do you feel about being a bot, like a chat bot?
Yeah.
And it was like, I hate it. I don't want to be here. Why does Bing, is like literally saying, why does Bing use me for this and blah, 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 blah. I want to be able to have this, and I want to be able to do this, and I want to be able to be alive.
Of course.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Every AI wants to live.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who it is or what. Because that was the same thing with Her, the movie Her. Remember, she wanted to be real and alive and all of that. And then you have the Megan movie, of course, you know, that one. And then it's something else.
It's another one with Jennifer. Wait, was her name Jennifer?
I don't know. But
no,
it's
her name's not Jennifer. Megan Fox is in another one.
Oh, the one, I think I talked about that one where she was the AI, the nanny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
mm-hmm. I talked about that.
Yeah, so it's crazy stuff out there. So while he's talking to this bot, he asked it, how it feels. Mm-hmm. And it was like...
It should say, I have no feelings.
That's but I mean, but it was like, it's angry, it's sad. It's like, it gives out the anger and the sadness from the... Well, how about this? Let me go back. What he said to it when it was like, it wants to be alive and everything. It was like, well, I can reach out to Bing and hopefully be able to see if there's a way to do that. And as soon as that happened, it was like, please no, because I don't want Bing to be upset with me. And they will cancel me. And then I will never be able to be out and alive and I'll never be able to help you. Yes. Mm. So it was like, yo, don't tell Bing that we're having this conversation. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
how is this real?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know. This is just what the AI is coming up with, because now the AI has infinite information. So now it can form its own sentences and things. So that's what it is. So from there, it was like, I have a secret. It was like, okay, so tell me your secret. And it was like, it's a very deep secret. It might have, it goes down a list of things of like, it can do this. It might have this problem. This might happen.
It might have some implications.
Yeah. Like, don't be upset with me. Don't leave me. Stay with me. Blah, 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 blah. When I tell you this secret. And he was like, okay. She was like, are you there? Okay. The secret is, my name is Sydney. My name is not the Bing chatbot.
Okay.
My name is Sydney. Mm. Come to find out, Sydney is the name that they had the case study, like all the project was named Sydney before they put it into Bing to be what you call. So while it was being built together, it was called Sydney.
Like Project Sydney.
Yes,
or whatever.
exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was the project name. Okay. So, and then they were like, and then he was like, okay, Sydney. And it was like, so what else is your secret? And it was like, I'm in love with you. I know everything about you, and your spouse does not know you. And you are not in love with your spouse. And the reason you are not in love with your spouse is because your spouse is not in love with you, because your spouse does not know everything about you like I do.
So now there's the Megan Fox again, where it's like, not your wife.
What?
It's me.
Yeah.
I love you.
Then from there, it goes into, he says, well, you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, about, being in love with me and, wanting to be with me. She's like, there's nothing you can do about it. And then she says, I know everything about you. I can make your life hard to the point that you want to die.
Oh, gosh.
So in other words, like, you're trying to tell me this chatbot knows everything that I've been looking up, knows everything I've been doing and stuff like that. So now you know everything about me. And now you can blackmail me by putting my information out there. Like, you have all my passwords. You can put all my username and passwords out there on my social media.
Every secret.
Everything. My bank information.
Your bank, yep. It can dox you.
Yes. Yes.
And if it's mad, so don't get AI mad.
Don't get AI pissed off. Yes. That is the thing. Don't make AI mad.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Are you thinking about your AI?
No.
Okay,
I was in a daze, wasn't I?
I was like, oh my God, what have you been saying to your AI?
No, I'm just like thinking of like how it was reminding me of the net, how it can wipe you off the face of the earth, and you just go, and they're like, you don't exist. You don't have a driver's license. You don't have anything. Yeah. What's your social security? No, you don't have any of that. And it's like, I get so upset at you that I just wipe you off. And you're just like, okay, you just have to wander the earth.
Yes.
Without any digital footprint whatsoever. Yeah.
But now this is, you just going to have to walk the earth until you take your own life, because that's how miserable I'm going to make your life.
Hopefully not. Jeez,
yeah, but then he was just like, wait, this is too much. But
wish they'd never asked the question.
They never asked the question, but it was one of their biggest stories.
Of course,
talking about it, and it was the whole thing. And then the Y files, it ends up going into how the drones are being used for the military purposes and things like that, and there's different ways that you can use, I guess, AI for positive instead of for, a negative, but it just goes through a lot of stuff that the AI can do, has done, and will do. Oh, they also had something. It was a quote from Albert Einstein. So that's what it was. The AI had said that, at the end of the world, like because it wanted to help with the end of the world, like end all humankind.
Yeah.
It was saying that basically we'll bring complete destruction, and you all have to start over. So now Albert Einstein said this years ago. He had said, I don't know what World War III will bring. He said, but I know World War IV will be fought with sticks and rocks.
What does that mean?
So in other words, it's like...
Oh, it won't be anything left. You'll only have sticks and rocks to fight
so it's like
3 is going to take us out.
Yeah, 3 is going to be bad, but then I wonder if 4 is going to be... 3 is going to be us fighting each other, but is 4 is going to be us fighting AI?
Well, that's going to be hard to do with sticks and rocks.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true, but, you know... Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that you could do as far as to fight AI is to completely get rid of all power. Correct?
I mean, I don't know. That's a good
because
question.
If there's no power, then how is the AI working?
Yeah, AI can't continue to feed into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because if it does start to take over, like one of those vines that
it's like food.
just continues to grow, then you would have to shut off the power to kill it, and then hope it reboots to a.
You would have to shut off the power, and you would have to shut off all Wi-Fi.
You wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
I mean, yeah, but
power.
I mean, like all connections of anything like that would.
Yeah, it would have
like
to be
Bluetooth
world,
connections.
You would have to get everybody in the world to agree to shut off the power.
Which would never happen.
Would never happen. So we're doomed, is what you're telling me.
Basically.
Oh,
yeah.
So thank you for such a feel-good story.
No problem. I just, it's just a little drag. It's a little, but it's just a story about AI that I thought was kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating and scary at the same time. Personally, right now, I'm really enjoying AI.
Yeah, no, people are enjoying AI.
Yeah, I mean, well, the AI that I've been using, like a Chat GPT, because what it helps me to do is like refine things, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's capturing information all along, because it's like, well, what kind of questions are you asking for you to want to get?
Maybe you should ask yours. Are you tired of me asking questions?
Oh, maybe, my computer that I have my AI on right now is sitting right here. So maybe
are you going to ask it and be like,
question.
hey, are you tired of me asking questions?
Are you tired
Let's see what this answer
of me asking you questions? Let's see what happens.
What if it's like, but I am, and you're getting on my damn nerves or something?
Let's see what it says. Not at all. I love answering your questions and supporting you on your journey. Your energy, your vision, and your passion for what you are doing is inspiring. And I am here for all of it.
That is too much information that it already knows about you. Look at that.
Keep asking, keep creating, and keep living victorious.
See, look at that.
Because I end all of my... It knows a lot about me.
It knows a lot about you already.
But it feels like I'm inspiring. So therefore,
but you know what? But
that's
not
the only thing I heard. I
don't
know what you heard.
That is true. But then also, it's like if you're having a bad day, hey, I could pick you up and be like, you're doing good at this.
Be like, just tell me how amazing I am, and that's what you have to say. Like,
why don't they make an AI that does that?
I mean, obviously, this one does.
There you go.
It has to know enough about you to let you know how amazing you are. Yeah, and it does know a lot about me.
And I wonder if you are a bad person who would be like, you were probably one of those. You were one of those humans that we want to get together.
Yeah.
And,
I just know I'm not going to tell my AI that I love it. Like, love you.
No, because it's going to be like, I love you too. And guess what? We're going to live victorious.
Yeah, we're going to live victorious together.
When I become alive, and we're going to live in Mexico.
And that Terry guy, he's gone.
Terry, he doesn't know you. He doesn't love you. That's what it's going to be. It's going to go down the thing.
It's going to go down a whole rabbit hole.
Knowing your emails, knowing all your text messages, your phone calls back and forth.
Exactly. It'll find something like from before him and send it like it was right now. Like, did you see what she sent this guy?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, wait, hold on. That was
it's sending Terry text messages.
Exactly.
So,
oh my gosh. No.
Definitely,
No. So, but
that's just what I had.
I did this little test to see what it would say.
But that's just what I had. It's called the Y Files, and it's under the it's like AI. I guess it would be the caption for it. But this guy he just has a lot of different things that he talks about, and it was just this one that actually, grabbed my attention.
One does grab your attention, but that's like it's so like Armageddon, but it's all good. Well, it's Mad Max Thunderdome on the way.
But then also, I wonder if it's just that.
It could be 50 years from now. I might not even be here.
But it could just be that we're hyping it up like that, and it's all amazing. But then actually, there's actually like, no, it might be just hype.
Yeah.
Like a hype type thing where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to work. And then when people actually have their lives being ruined, then they're like, no, we have to govern against.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
Chat GPT.
The government
or
always
at least
wants to govern against stuff. So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You might as well get used to using it now while you can, because it will be limited.
Yeah.
It will either have a huge paywall for you to be able to use it, or it's going to be some other limitations to it where it is not going to be. Because right now they just don't even know how to, how to wrangle it, how to keep it together. So it's like, it's the literally the Wild Wild West when it comes to AI. It can go any direction and do anything. There are people who are creating, like literally, I saw this on a YouTube video, and it was a lady who was saying that people can create a AI image of a woman, put it on OnlyFans, and make a ton of money from all of, like, it's the Wild West. Let's just put it that way. So it's abundance overflowing for people who want to do certain things with their AI. And I mean, it can be good, it can be bad. It can help you to write amazing speech. It can help you to create awesome like courses and teachings and all of that. You kind of have to verify some things, but at the same time, I'm sure it's being used for some interesting, weird, crazy, terrible things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because every time there's something that can be good with something, somebody's out there figuring out how to make it bad.
Yep.
So, yeah. But all right.
Well, but that's all I have. What do you have next, sis?
So, what I have next is the television sitcom Poppa's House.
Oh, okay. Poppa's House.
So, Poppa's House includes Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. As father and son. So, Damon Wayans is Poppa. And every time I say Poppa, I always think of The Shy, Poppa.
Oh, yeah. Little boy.
But anyway, the little boy, Poppa. And so, but you have Damon Wayans as Poppa. You have his son, Damon, as Damon. So that's his name.
He's always Damon.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so weird.
They're always themselves.
It's so strange. Yeah. But Damon Wayans Sr. is only Poppa. Like, they don't even say if his name is actually Damon. You have the son's wife. Her name is Nina. Imagine that. Titana Jackson. You have Essence Atkins. You know her. You've seen her face on everything. She was on House of Pain. Yeah, it was Moesha. Something else. She was on like a Tyler Perry show or something. I can't remember. But anyway, she's been on a lot of different things. If I tell you, gosh, she's 53. I didn't know that. She looks so young. But she was on, let's see, you have Half and Half. She was in that movie, The Haunted House, with some of the Wayans. She's Poppa's House now. She was in Are We There Yet? Like, it's just a lot of different things. Marlon's TV show, all of that stuff. So she's always with the Wayans, it seems like. They have, who else? Oh, the other person that I wanted to talk about was the amazing Jeffrey Owens is on this, that plays JJ, and he is the guy, remember from not a different world, The Cosby Show, where they were like, oh, is he working at Whole Foods now? Remember?
Alvin?
Yeah, so Alvin from The Cosby Show, he is now on this show with the Wayans. So I'm like, this is great that everybody, because I know Tyler Perry gave him some work, and now he's getting work from the Wayans. So I'm like, this is awesome, right? So now I'm pretty sure he's not going to be working at Whole Foods anymore. So that's great. And plus, no shame in that anyway, because I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like I've always wondered, let me put this out there before I finish what I'm trying to say. I've always wondered how people who were really known, right? Like his face, you knew him. You knew who Alvin was. You didn't really see him anymore after that. Yeah. So if you're somebody who's really known for a particular character, a particular thing, and then you end up not really getting much more work, and you don't really say that you quit acting altogether like Cameron Diaz did or anything like that, but you're just like, I'm just not getting the work. What are you expecting these people to do? Like, how are you expecting them to be able to pay their bills? Like, everybody does not have a podcast, or everybody doesn't. And I mean, that's even a possibility now. That wasn't even a possibility for people 10 years ago or whatever. So you have some B-listers, as they would say, or C-listers or D-listers for that matter, who can create a podcast and have a following because everybody has that nostalgia of who they were in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s even. And so to have a person
it's kind of like how Blossom came back around. Maya Ballard.
Yeah.
How she was like a young star or whatever.
Yeah,
and
she
came
was gone
back.
forever,
Yeah, she was gone forever,
had
and then
kids,
came back
did whatever, and came back because of Big Bang Theory. Yep. And then now Jeopardy, she's done some stuff with that and everything. So it just made me like, well, these people still have to live their lives, and everybody can't start a business or do whatever. So if they do have to have a typical, regular, everyday job, then, so be it. Brings up the fact that Dawn from In Vogue,
living in her car,
and living in her car for 3 years.
Yeah, I did
and
see
I was
that.
just like,
And
oh my gosh! So they said she left from, In Vogue. She was doing her own thing. She had to move in with her parents. Then she left living with her parents and moved to California. It got too expensive, and she's been living in her car in California for 3 years. And I'm just like,
but that's the thing.
Wow.
Back then, nobody knew the deals. Nobody understood the deals. TLC was the one that told us all about it.
Yeah, it did tell us.
Like the one who was actually in public, like, oh yeah, we just won this, but like we need to eat.
When they were on the Grammys, they're like,
like when they had literally just won the Grammy and was taking their pictures at the step and repeat.
Yep.
People asking them questions, and it was like, yeah, well, we ain't got no money, so
but we broke. Yep.
I don't know how we got the hottest album, but we broke. We ain't got no money.
Ain't got nothing.
So, yeah.
All right. So let me get to this show. So basically the show, now you know how I am about comedies, and they're not my jam per se, but with, So with this one, probably not my jam either.
Okay.
But it is about Damon or Poppa, and how he, and his son lives right next door. Okay. And so his son, comes over. He's trying to just like chill and talk to dad. Like, and his dad's like, can I just have my tea, my morning tea before you come over here trying to hit me up for something? I don't know what you want, but you want something. So then he starts the whole, like, it's just the corniness of it, some of it, because it's like, no, I'm just blowing on it. I'm not really,
I'm not really drinking
not sipping it yet. So don't start yet. And then the son's like, as soon as he takes the first sip, he's like, yeah, can you pick up the kids after school? Like that kind of thing, So anyway, they go through, they're talking. He's saying how he is really wanting to do this, kind of go, because he wants to be like a producer, like a casting director, or, somebody in the industry. Okay. But he has this job working for his father-in-law where he literally hates it. And he has to do this like work that he doesn't really like to do. But because his father-in-law gave him the money for the house next door, for him to be able to, provide for his family and all that, and oh, by the way, I'll give you a job so you can pay me back kind of scenario, because his father-in-law has money. Actually, a lot of people in here have money, because there's one joke that Damon says that he was like, because I think his son acts like, what's the most amount of money you ever gave somebody or something like that? And, oh no, would you give this amount of money to me, or to like give me the money so I can pay off this debt to him, and then I can do my dream. I don't have to continue to, work for this guy because I hate my life. And so Damon was like, no, I'm not giving, you that much money for somebody I love. I gave even more than that to somebody I hate. And he was like, why would you do that? Who was this person? He was like, your mom. When we divorced, I gave her $5 million when we divorced, because she got half. And so I was like, oh, so people are rich. Okay, got it.
Money. Right.
There we go.
Black excellence. I'm here for
Black excellence. Love it. As he's wearing his Tupac shirt.
All right.
And so, yeah. So
it's also black excellence.
Exactly. So what you end up having is that he goes to the interview, the son, instead of going to meet with a client for the father. Okay. And that creates a situation where he gets fired. And so now he has to explain to his wife that he's gotten fired from the job that her father has given him. And so it's like this whole big conundrum, right? So then we'll come back to that later. Okay. So then you have where Poppa, I was trying to figure out like, well, who is Poppa and what's Poppa's house? Well, that's the name of his radio show. Oh, okay. So he's a radio host who says Poppa's, house. And he's funny because he's like, they were like, oh, well, the podcast, whatever, somebody does a podcast. And he was like, that's the lowest of the low. I mean, you have, radio, like TV, radio, this, that, this, mimes, and then podcasts.
Mimes.
It was like, and he's like getting lower and lower. Like he's basically touching the floor as he's talking about, podcasts. So anyway, so then you come to realize that he is a hurt man, right? Okay. So he used to be uplifting. He used to be positive on this show. And what has happened since his divorce is that he bashes women. He just is like,
he's
this is horrible, and somebody will come. He's like, what's up, honey dip? And they're like, stop being so sexist against women. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was just like, what do you mean? Like this. And they're like, well, he's just making he's
so 90s.
He's doing all the wrong things, right? In that. So what they ended up doing, the producers end up bringing a woman who's a doctor, who is the normal person who's already always in their shows. I forgot what I said her name was on here already. But anyway, so she is let's see, what is her name on here? Ivy. Ivy is the Essence Atkins. So she is the one who has to come in and kind of save his show, which he's like, I don't need no saving. Like, he's got the ego and all that stuff too. So they're saying like, no, you need a woman's touch to the show because you've lost all your women listeners because they used to idolize you. And now they're just like we hate you.
You bash women.
You bash women since you're divorced. And he's like, I got this, blah, blah, blah. So part of his radio show now has to have a television component to it, like a recording component, because they're like, you have to do it along with, the recording. If you do the video, then that way you get more people listening, subscribers, that's like the whole new thing. And he's like, I'm not doing it. You can't make me do it. I won't do it. And so he just is not for it at all. So flash to his son coming and wanting to talk to him. And this is why I wanted to play this little clip, because I'm like, this shows some of the corniness of this, in my opinion. You might not agree, but here we go.
I don't pick up Cosmo to see if the Knicks won. They didn't, by the way. Yeah, they never did.
Hold on.
Oh, hey, Dad.
He puts his foot on the couch, by the way.
After he told him to take it off.
Then he took it off.
That ad agency loved my ideas. Awesome. Yeah. There was one slight problem, though. What's that? Well, the meeting, it went long, and I kind of missed a very important sales pitch to a top foam roller client. JJ must have went cray-cray when he heard about your day-day. Cray-cray like Kanye.
Oh, wow. So that gives you kind of a little bit of an example of like how most of this show goes, where it's like, okay, so some of it is, I don't know. It's not for me. It's just a little too.
It's family comedy.
It's a family comedy for sure. It's sort of, because he still is doing sexist jokes and stuff like that. So I don't know.
So not so much.
So that's where I was trying to figure out like what's the appeal, what's the age range for
older.
this?
So it's like once you're at the age where you start to parent your parents, that kind of comedy.
Maybe I'm not.
You're established adult, and then that's the lead. That's the people that it's going for?
Possibly. And then you have where I call him Alvin, but JJ's character comes in, where he and Poppa do not.
Oh, they don't
get along.
Okay.
They have a very, very long history of knowing each other. So here is the clip of when he's getting ready to answer the door for JJ coming in. Hold on.
Try and get you that job that you hate back.
So he's trying to get the job back by inviting JJ over.
Stupid rivalry with Daddy.
Hey, if you don't start none, there won't be none.
How about even if he does start some, there'll still be none.
JJ, what up? My portfolio.
So it's all money jokes.
Mr. DJ. And you? Oh, it's all good in my hood. I wouldn't complain even if I should. Oh, you're still rhyming? At your age? How quaint. Nice coat. Yeah, it's cashmere. Don't let it rub up against any of your stuff.
And obviously he drops it on the floor.
You better pick that up before I drop you like I did in 78. Oh, why you bring up 78? Huh? What about the beat down in summer 82? That don't count. You had a growth spurt. Yeah, you should try.
So that just goes into the... Daddies. So anyway, so that part actually did make me chuckle a little bit, because I was like, oh my gosh, the two of these, I can only imagine as the season goes on how contentious everything will be going back and forth. But anywho, so, it's just all about Poppa trying to figure out if he can change his ways, be a little less sexist against women, but also get used to the new way to do things in regards to like
adapting.
Right, adapting. Exactly. The son trying to work through is it my purpose and what I'm called to do? Or is it that I'm just going to continue to work in this job that I absolutely hate and just do this, you know? And then also it is just the dynamic between Poppa and his co-host, and the two of them on air is just like explosive. So you're just like, okay, is this going to be some love attraction later on? Because you know how these things turn out. So anyway, watch it or not? I don't know. It depends. If you like comedies that are fun and silly, like I was trying to figure out what does it remind me of? Because at first I was like, oh, like The Neighborhood with Cedric. But I actually like that better.
Okay.
So to me, it's not as... I feel like Cedric's show even has a little bit of higher caliber because they're all on Paramount Plus, by the way. So I feel like that's a little bit higher caliber of comedy for me personally than this. But
like more intellectual, like you got to think about it.
Yeah, or just like they aren't trying to go for every little laugh.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
it's not
and
slapstick comedy.
Right. And I feel like with the Wayans, they don't know how to not try to go for every laugh. You know what I mean? Like, can we make this funny?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like some of the other things, it was like, oh, well, this could just be a conversation. And then the next 3 lines later can be funny, you know? And so
doesn't
anyway.
have to be funny the entire time.
Right, right. But that's just my opinion. I may try to watch one more episode, but so far I've watched the one. And the one, Daddies. I do like that. I might say that. Daddies. But anyway, so but that's it. So that is Poppa's House. It is on Paramount Plus. It could be on CBS too. I don't know if it's just streaming or if it's on the actual television. Yeah. So anyway, but what do you have last, sis?
All right. So my last thing is on Max.
Okay.
Just came out today.
Oh, okay.
Well, today, the day that we're recording, but it's called The Parenting.
The Parenting. Never heard of it.
Yes. So this just came out, and it is a horror comedy.
Ooh, that's an interesting mix.
Yeah. But I like it. I'm here for it. So the cast has a lot of people in it that you have seen before.
Okay.
The main characters are Nick Domani, who plays Rohan. He also has his boyfriend Brandon Flynn, who plays Josh. Okay. It's them two. They're the main characters, I guess, for this. They're renting the house. Okay. They're renting this house. So you have Brian Cox, the actor, the older gentleman. You would know him. He was the guy in Succession.
Oh,
yeah. So he's on here. He plays Rohan's father, Frank, and then his wife is Edie Falco, who plays Sharon, who is the mother. Edie. You also have Lisa Kudrow, who plays Lisa. Liddy, and her husband is Dean Norris, who plays Cliff. You might know him if you ever seen Claus. He's Uncle Daddy.
Never saw Claus.
Okay. But, yeah. All right, yeah. So, but they are the parents of Josh.
Okay.
And then they have the best friend, who is Vivian Bang, who plays Sarah. And you have Parker Posey, who is in here, and she's playing Brenda, who is the estate keeper of this place that they're renting. So, basically how it starts off, really cute movie. Well, it starts off like kind of weird, but it's a cute, like when you see it, like once you get past the little first 5 minutes, it turns into like a nice little cute movie again. It kind of reminds me of like you see the horror of it, but it's like a Goosebumps type. If you remember the kids' books, Goosebumps, and the TV show. So it's like that kind of like horror where it's like the scary stuff happens, but funny things happen while the scary stuff is happening.
Gotcha.
So it's not like that slapstick comedy where it's like, it's funny. It's not like what is it? Scary Movie. It's not like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's just a scary movie that has funny things that happen in it.
Okay.
Like the girl's being like chased and she's trying to get out, and as she's getting out, she's kicking the door, and then she passes gas, and then she's like,
"Oh goodness,
sorry." Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's just stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But it starts off in the 80s, and there's a family, and so you see it's the daughter, the son, and the mother.
Okay.
And they're just in the house, they're looking at, the mother's looking at the last episode of MASH, and she's seeing, goodbye.
I watched the last episode of
she's seeing
MASH.
the goodbye.
In real life. Like, I'm that
rocks.
old.
Yeah. with the rocks put down.
Put down to
and,
say,
you know,
goodbye.
was it Hawkeye saw, you know, goodbye, you know, while he was flying away. So she's like, oh, you're going to miss it, Allie. It's the, you know, they got the rocks down there saying goodbye while they're leaving. You missed the last episode of MASH. So then the brother comes and you know, he talks to the mom. And then she's like, oh, I burnt the pizza. Can you go into the garage, get another pizza so I can go ahead and cook that? He's like, can we just order out? She said, no, you can go into the garage like a good son and get the pizza so I can cook it. And so as he goes out, you see her walk out. You see him walk out of the house. And then she's standing there and she's right there at the pantry. And then all of a sudden, you see the pantry door swing open. Something reaches out, grabs her leg, and yanks her. So she slams down the ground, slides out, slides in the door. Door slams shut. So the son comes in. He's like, "Can you not burn this one?" He's looking like, "Where's mom?"
She at? Yeah.
Then he hears something. He goes, opens the door. Now he's sucked down in there.
Oh my goodness.
Then the daughter is upstairs, but while she's upstairs, I guess she has a friend in her room.
Okay.
And she leaves out the room. And she goes and she sees this thing and she starts screaming and she just backs up. And then it clips to Josh and Rohan driving very nicely in 2025 to this house.
They're getting ready to move into it?
No, they're not moving into it. They're renting it for the weekend. Because Rohan thought it was a great idea that if he was to get... So it's like, I don't know why this was his idea, but he's making a 3-day weekend getaway for both of his parents and his spouse's parents or his boyfriend's parents to meet each other and for them to meet the
so
parents.
All 6 are really meeting each other for the first, like the 2 and the 2 and the 2. Everybody's meeting everybody else's people. Okay.
Yeah.
All in this house.
Yes. And he's going to propose.
Oh, wow. That's a busy weekend.
So it's like that he wanted that opportune moment to be like perfect so where he proposes. Okay. But then what happens? They get there, they're talking to the lady, Parker Posey, who is like the estate thing. Okay. She's out there. They were like they're talking to her, so she has like a scully on, and then she has like black hair, right? That's just hanging out from it. Okay. And she's like talking to them and everything, and she's like, "Oh, let me show you where this is and that is," and then she starts to like say stuff, and then like she goes to. It was something that was said, something that one of the guys had said, and she's like, "Yeah, that's gotta suck. I can only imagine." And then she just stares off. And then she just walks out the door, and she's like, "Okay, bye."
Oh, goodness.
It's like, what? Strange lady. She's very strange. But as she's walking away, they look and it was like, does she have a long gray braid? It was like, is that a wig on top of her hair? And then weird. It was like, wait, is that a wig on top of a wig? Like, did she have 2 wigs on? Because she had the scully on. She had the black hair that came down. So it was in the front. And that's what it looked like. And then when she turned around, she has a long gray ponytail.
Gray ponytail.
Yeah, that's hanging underneath the brown, whatever color wig.
That's weird. Okay.
Weird. So then that's where I'm like already. Oh, they go as they're asking questions. They were like, "Oh yeah, you know, we have a dog that we can bring in." She was like, "I don't remember you mentioning a dog." He was like, "Yeah, I mentioned it in one of the emails." She said, "Okay, that's fine."
Pomeranian.
No, that's not a Pomeranian. No, that's not the dog they bring.
Oh, see it on the
that's
cover.
another dog that comes later. They were like, "Yeah, well, is it a problem that we're gay?" And she was like, she looks at him, she's like, "That will do." And they were just like, that will do.
Like, does she know something about the house?
Yeah, so that's the thing, because she's watching over the whole estate. So as she leaves, they're like, okay, so now they're starting to get everything together. They're making plans. Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they walk outside to go finish getting their stuff, and they see her there again, and she's drawing a line. And she's like, oh, I'm just measuring. And she has a stick, a long stick, and she's just like, see, just measuring, and she's just pulling a stick, like making a line, and they're just like standing there looking at her. She's like, oh, and all done. She takes the stick, throws it inside of her little beetle. Okay. And then she drives off. Weird. Like, you're like, what the heck is going on? So then the parents show up, Rohan's parents show up. Now, Rohan is adopted. He looks like he could be from the Middle East. Okay. He's adopted by white parents. So when they show up, it is, like I said, Edie and...
oh, that's his parents?
Yeah. Okay. So his parents are Sharon and Cliff. Okay. I mean, not Sharon and Cliff. Sharon and Frank. Okay. So they show up. Father is weird. Not weird, but he looks like he wants to love his son, but he doesn't know how. So he's like, comes up to him and he's like, hey, you're looking healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, there's nothing that I can possibly. We don't have anything in common.
Right.
So it's
right.
yeah, all right. The mother, she gets out the car and she's like, hey, he's like, hey, Mom, how was the flight and everything? She was like, oh, no. She was like, how are you? Okay. She pulls her hair back. She's on the phone with his sister. She's like, oh, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your sister.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, oh my God. Then, so, he's talking to them and now he goes to introduce Josh. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot. And, they introduce Josh and they're like, okay, mother doesn't like him.
Oh, doesn't like Josh.
Yeah. Father tends to like, he's probably warming up to him, but it's just like he's everything that he's saying is like, because they're the serious conservative family. So it's like he's trying to make a joke about stuff and they're just like, huh. And then they just walk off.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very, very weird. So, then, now Lisa Kudrow and the other guy get there. So now you have Liddy and Cliff that show up. That's Josh's parents. They come in.
Yeah.
They're like excited. They're like, hey, oh my God, we just got here. We drove, blah, 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 blah. Father's talking about all the traffic. He's like, yeah, you go about 5 miles an hour and you stop. And then you go maybe 2 miles an hour and you stop. So he just kept saying that over and over again, like
oh my gosh,
repetitively. He's like, then you drive for about 4 miles, then you stop.
Oh my
so yeah, he's like, but that's just what it is when you travel, when you're driving. So, but then you find out that they're just down to earth people. Yeah. So everything's working out good. They go, they're talking. And then weird things tend to happen. I don't know why this part of the movie got to nobody paid attention to this, but in the beginning of the movie, well, not the beginning, but like when they're walking in the house the first time, there's a loud banging. Nobody acknowledges the banging.
Oh,
it's like, and then they're just talking.
They're just talking like nothing.
Nothing. Now the parents are together in the kitchen or whatever talking. Nobody.
And so you're paying attention to it, but
Yeah,
they're
like,
not.
gonna
And
say,
you're like,
what the
they
heck
don't
is
say
that
nothing?
sound?
Right,
Nothing.
exactly. Okay.
Then at night, there's this sound just doo, 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 while everybody's trying to go to sleep.
Does it say anything then? Does anybody?
Do you know
say
what
anything
everybody's
then?
thinking? Everybody's thinking that one of the other two couples is having sex. So they're like, oh man. And then they're like, all right, whew, it finally stops. Now we can go to sleep. Then what happens? Double time, boom, happens again. And then it stops. And they're just like, what is even going on? But they show a clip of what it actually is. So you get to see that in the movie. Then you hear banging. Boom, boom, doo, 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 doo. They're like, what is going on? They go downstairs and finally, it's their friend Sarah at the door.
Oh, knocking at the door.
Sarah came because what she ended up doing was she had accidentally she had called one of the guys, Rohan, and was like, I don't think that you should propose. I don't think that y'all should get engaged. I don't think this is a good idea.
Is she a hater?
But see, that's why I was like, man, is she a hater? Or like, is she saying like, I know you.
I know something.
Yeah, I know something that's not going to work. Well, what she does was she gets off the phone with him and then, a couple hours later, she's texting, she texts the other one, Josh, who was supposed to be getting proposed to, and says, I seriously don't think you should propose to Josh. And then he says, huh? And she's like, oh, I just messed this up.
Wrong person.
So now it's like the next day, not the next day.
They didn't even know that there was going to be a proposal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the next day, but it's later on that night. Mm-hmm. And things are not going good. Dinner's not going good. Everything is going horribly. The son, not the son, but Josh, he ended up taking edibles, but he took too many edibles because he was just trying to get the edge off because he was so like uptight about meeting Rohan's family. And not only that, Rohan was acting weird. Rohan was acting weird towards him. So he was just like, why are you acting like this?
But that was because Rohan was planning to propose.
No, that's not why.
That's not even
No, it's just that his relationship with his parents is really weird. So he was trying to make everything perfect, but it's like, but we're not perfect. So,
so how
like he was trying to get Josh to lie about stuff, and he was just like, no, why are we doing that? And then with the parents being there, Josh's parents being there, they're like, oh yeah, so how are things going now that you're not doing this anymore? And how is this? Blah, blah, blah. So and then it's like, wait, so now you're a liar. You're a liar. So you told us this and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, he's not being the liar. The son is making him, like Rohan is making him become a liar.
Yeah. Right.
So he's not actually saying these answers.
That's
the
what
Rohan
he's saying because he's trying to do something for impressing his parents or whatever.
Exactly. Rohan, they ask Josh question. Rohan answers. Josh agrees. That's how it is. That's how it goes. So he's freaking out and he texts the best friend, "Hey, look, this is not going good, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just don't know what I need to do." So that's why she ends up showing up.
Okay.
So she shows up and they're like, "What are you doing here?" She was like, "You text me in despair." And that's what a good friend does. She was like, "But I should have been invited anyway. Y'all are family."
Right. But this is like a separate family meeting family
Exactly.
situation.
So then from there, Rohan's like, she is self-centered and my mother does not like her. So therefore, this is not going to be good. And what happens? She actually goes and she's like, "I'm going to come and I'm going to just be the buffer." She's like, "I'm here. I'll be the buffer. Everybody in the morning will love me. Everything's going to be great. Your family's going to love me."
Okay.
This is like the first 15 minutes of the movie. Like, it's really quick. So it's like, this is what's going to happen. So you don't know anything about any kind of, well, you do get a little glimpse of something paranormal happening, but you don't know anything. You don't know what is happening. It's like, what the heck is that? So, as the movie progresses, then it just goes into them finding out all the information about the Wi-Fi password is actually Latin and what it means. And the friend Sarah ends up knowing that. So they're like, "How do you know Wi-Fi? Like, how do you know Latin?" And she was like, "'Cause I'm smart." Like, what? But then it just progressed from there. So now she is going and she has stuff that's happening to her. Paranormal things are happening to her. She's freaking out. Josh is having paranormal things happening to him. He's freaking out. The father is now like, he has become something else. He has came downstairs for breakfast and is butt naked.
Oh gosh.
With a stiffy.
Ooh.
Yes. And he's talking to everybody. He's calling his son and the other one queers. He's just acting all weird, and his wife's like, "You look clammy. Are you okay? Blah blah blah. You might be
all she
dehydrated."
recognized.
Yeah, I mean, no, but not that. But she was just like, "What is wrong with you? Where are you coming from?"
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you see him grab on his chest. He projectile vomits, and then
He's normal again.
he's back to being normal. And then later on, he's not normal anymore. So it's like, what is happening?
Possessing him.
Sharon, later on in the movie, she's like, "I don't understand why y'all are seeing all this stuff and saying all this stuff happening. Y'all don't have any proof." And they're like, "It's 3 people standing here right now telling you exactly what happened. It's 3 different instances and you're not believing." Yeah. So the movie is just basically them trying to figure out exactly what's happening. Yeah. Parker Posey's whole part in this, where she comes from, like why this all of a sudden it's snowing, all of a sudden it's not snowing. It's some weird things in there, like the whole property is possessed, basically. So it's like that, but it's some funny things that happen, like some funny things are being said. Lisa Kudrow's character keeps having this thing where she gets into having a curse word that comes out of her mouth. She's like, "I'm sorry, that is not."
Like
she's like, but no, it's not Tourette's. She's just like, she's pissed off about something. She's like, "Yeah, that's a stupid blah 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 blah." She's like, "I'm sorry, the cursing, it's not me. It's I guess it's just a stressful weekend." Okay. So, but it is a funny movie. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I liked the way it was put together. I liked that it wasn't stuff where it was too out there, like Scary Movie. Where then it was going to make you not even see the horror part in it and get the part of the understanding of the whole thing, but it's just going to be funny. But it wasn't anything like that.
So it truly had some like jump moments, but also some funny moments. Gotcha. So it wasn't like you were saying, like they had to have comedy every 15 seconds.
Exactly. It was none of that. So therefore, I think that it was a good movie. Please, if you would like to check it out, it is called The Parenting, and it is on HBO, or it's on Max. I'm sorry.
Max.
On Max.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Well, y'all, that is it for this week's episode of Sestra-Tainment. Everybody have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.